All right, welcome back to the IOY podcast. Today I got a new guest on today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
My name's Chad Staples, or kind of known as Zookeeper Chad, and I'm from Sydney, Australia.
How'd you get into zookeeping and everything?
It was a long time ago. I was very fortunate that I basically got into it straight out of high school. I've been doing this almost 25 years now, so
Damn.
I'm very lucky, and I'm more passionate about it today than I was on day one.
How did you know that you wanted to pursue, working in a zoo and stuff like that?
You know what? I don't think I wasn't that kid that's. To be honest, I mean, most of the way through high school, I didn't even know that it was possible. I got towards the end of high school not really having any idea what I wanted to do, and started a couple of jobs that I just couldn't stand for about 6 months, 8 months or something straight after high school, and actually left the last job and sort of said to the guy, and he was a good guy, sort of said, "Look, sorry, I've got to leave. This isn't me, and I'm going to try to get a job in the zoo," and not having any idea how I was going to.
So did you have to go to school or anything for it after that point?
Yeah, look, once I started, so over here in Australia, I guess the university college degrees within the animal industry are very, very skewed towards animal research. So if you're wanting to go and work in the field, if you're wanting to do, I guess, veterinary, any sort of scientific study on animals, that's where our degrees seem to be really aimed towards. What we do have over here in Australia is it's something called TAFE, but it's basically a trade.
Oh,
So
okay.
the same sort of schooling that you would do to become a plumber, an electrician, you have that same version of schooling to become a zookeeper, and you do a certain amount of hours sort of on the job work, whether it's volunteered or paid, and you do your theoretical in a school. So
Damn.
I did those sort of things after I'd started. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how many years did that take you to get?
Look, to be honest, the first sort of certificates to get in are only a couple of years. I've done, I think, three different courses in it now, and like I did then go back to sort of college, and figuring that I needed to have that piece of paper behind me as well as
Right.
the knowledge, but life gets in the way sometimes, and when my then wife and I, sort of fell pregnant with our first baby, there's no time for college. You got to get a second job to support the family. So,
Right.
look, I'm very lucky. I got started a while ago now. I've got a fair bit of on the job training, which is more valuable than anything.
Yeah, that's for
But
sure.
I do think it would be harder for somebody starting out now to possibly get to where I've got at it, which I don't know if it's unfortunate or not, but it's probably the way it is.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that's what's, crazy about it, like you have to go to school, and learn everything, but I mean like the on the job training is the main thing that's gonna, the job experience, to really be able to get the knowledge and, be more hands-on, you know what I mean? So that's good that, you're able to do, kind of both at the same time, right?
Yeah, and it is certain. I mean, you can't have one without the other. If you don't have some basic fundamentals in theory, you'll never understand what it is.
Right. Yeah. Oh shoot. Can you hear me? I think it gets kind of bad connection. I think you got it on the mute button. There you
Yeah, I don't
go.
know what happened there. Lost you for a second.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it was just a little bad connection, but okay. But yeah, I mean, so after, the schooling and stuff, did you get the job, where you're at now right off the bat or?
No, not at all. So, out of high school, before I even started the schooling, I just started as a zookeeper. I did that for about 5 years. And I think that's something that's crucial for people to understand now. You know, there was no pay rise, there was no change in grade, there was nothing for 5 years. I think unfortunately, so many people getting into this industry and many others expect it just to happen straight away. I know working in a zoo or wildlife park, you know, if you've been there for a whole year, you've only seen everything once. You know, you've been through one summer, one spring, one winter. You've only seen it once. You know, that's not a lot. You wouldn't even know if that year that you were involved in was a normal year or a year of unexpected stuff.
Right.
So there really is, unfortunately, a real lack of patience, I think, with people starting out now. But yeah, I did, you know, that very beginner start out zookeeper job for 5 years solid.
Damn.
After that, I actually moved into an educational role
Mhm.
where I was the educator at a wildlife park, and you know, primarily teaching kids, but then adults, university students, all these different age groups, and I did that for 3 years. After that, I moved into curatorial work, which is then more senior on the animal care, where you're looking at the collection and helping to design what that's going to look like.
Oh, damn.
Um, Again, I was probably doing curatorial work for then, gosh, must have been close to 10 years. And
Damn.
then from there, had the opportunity to sort of move into a director role. And so
Yeah.
now I'm the managing director of 3 zoos.
Damn, for real, three of them?
Yeah, so all in New South Wales. So Australia, New South Wales, where Sydney is the capital of. There's 3 zoos in that state that I run. So one on the north, inland on sort of north coast,
Hmm.
one right in Sydney, and one south coast. Very
Oh,
beautiful spots.
damn. So like they're all the same brand, right? They're all the same company.
Yeah, so I'm the managing director of Australian Wildlife Parks, and then the 3 parks sit under that. One's called Hunter Valley Zoo, one's Featherdale Sydney Wildlife Park, and one is Mogo Wildlife Park.
Damn. So what are the job titles intake that you have to do?
So, what are the
Like the what is your like day-to-day job that you have to do now? Like
all right? Who knows? There is no such thing as a typical day, and I think that's part of the reason why I love it.
yeah.
I'm very fortunate. You know, got great teams under me. So whether I'm at a particular wildlife park or not, I know that it's going to be running well, and then I can just put myself where I can be most valuable. So I now have curators at each park that I communicate with, you know, daily about what's going on, where we plan things. Veterinary staff to make sure that all the animals' health concerns are always, you know, cared for, and a huge team of zookeepers. So, and it's my job just to make sure the team's running well.
Damn. Well, yeah, it sounds like quite the responsibility, man, but you damn well earned it. You know, I mean, you put in a lot of years, you know, there that with the whole industry, you know, with animals and stuff. Do you get to work a lot with animals and stuff then?
Oh, 100%.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
very fortunate in that regards that, yeah, in a lot of ways I can spend my time how I think it's best spent. And so there's still a lot of hands-on with the animals. You know, it's a great industry to be a mentor in, because so much of it is practical skills. So walking a young keeper through what you do and how you do it is vital for, you know, handing on that knowledge. It's not as easy as just taking notes and giving them. It's You do have to show, you have to walk with them, you need to, you know, hold hands and champion them. So no, I'm very lucky. A lot more hands on than, you know, in the office.
Right. I mean, do you have to like teach a lot of safety protocols and stuff like with the new zookeepers and stuff, obviously, right? So like, you know, what is some stuff that you know, that they have to be mainly aware of, you know, so like, you know, an animal don't accidentally attack them or, you know, something like that, you know, that you have to make them aware of.
Well, I think it's the same here in Australia as what it would be in the States. It's, you know, we live in such a litigious society where everyone's happy to sue you for anything. Everything's got to
Right.
be very careful.
Yeah.
So we we have policies and procedures around every possible action that a zookeeper does. So
Hmm.
there is a lot of on-the-job training around safety, but that can be, of course, working with an animal and how you do a feeding, a cleaning, and but it can also be how you use a wheelbarrow and a rake and shovel.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of induction and training to make sure that people are trained well, trained by someone who knows better, and everybody's safe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that does make sense. You got to really put put an effort with that, because that's the main priority because people, definitely are willing to sue at all at any cost, I mean, so, I mean, even, just, the customers and stuff, you just got to make sure everybody's, safe and stuff, but what is like, do you have to, is that part of your job, I guess, like making sure that the customers that come in, obviously that you have to kind of put in different ideas or fences or just like modeling the zoo itself, the safety and stuff like that. Is that what you kind of do
Yeah,
too?
yeah, of course. Yep. I mean, but the easy thing, to be honest, is if you design a wildlife park or a zoo with the animal in mind,
Hmm.
their best interests, their welfare, their if you put them first in anything, visitors will enjoy it. That's a
Yes.
given. Um, a wildlife park or a zoo is not about entertainment; it's about enjoyment. So it's creating a space where people and animals can interact or share the.
Yeah, I think. I think we lost it again. There it goes. My bad.
Lost you again.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
there we go. What were you saying though about putting stuff in front of the people that come in?
Yeah. Basically, if you put the animal first,
Right.
people will enjoy that. People that come to wildlife or a zoo, they're coming because they have an interest in animals, a passion in animals. They want to enjoy animals. So if everything that I do puts the animal first, people will naturally enjoy it. My biggest goal is to make sure that there's only positive interactions and encounters between people and animals. And by doing that, it's your easiest form of education, and it's the best way to have a long lasting impact on somebody with animals, because I want to make sure that people leave here wanting to make good, smart decisions that are going to impact animals in a good way somehow.
Right. Yeah, no, that is a really good thing that you do, because it really leaves the people with something, that, feeling good when they leave or feeling like, oh, that was a beautiful place. They take care of their animals so well. And, I've seen that you even your zoos that they even have like animals that are going extinct, you kind of preserve them and try to continue their population, right? Isn't that one you guys have a few species like that there, don't you? What are the names
Yeah,
of those
heaps
ones?
across the three parks. Oh, mate, there's heaps. I mean, there's animals in Australia that you would never even heard of.
Really?
We keep because a huge role of all good zoos and what should be out there in the wild. Unfortunately, one of the main pressures on animals in the wild is habitat loss. And as a zookeeper, I can do very little around that. Unfortunately, that sits with governments everywhere. They're the only ones
Yeah.
that can control that. But what we can do is, if we can ensure a strong genetic population of animals, if we have good breeding practices and we're keeping them well, that if one day that habitat destruction is stopped and reversed, and there's the ability to put animals back in, then that's where we can really step in and play a key role.
Damn. Yeah, that is a really good thing that you can do because I mean, there's plenty of, fires and stuff that, definitely destroy, wildfires that, destroy a lot of animals' homes and, businesses and construction, just like shit like that. But like, that's good that you're able to kind of preserve them and continue to keep them going. And, like you said, you can release them if something, were to come up, in their life, their habitat comes back. And at the same time, people get to see them, at the zoo. You know what I mean? So it's just, kind of a win-win for everybody. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just kind of a cool thing. I mean, I've always went to zoos when I was a kid, and it's just a really good experience going to see all kinds of different animals and stuff, and especially the ones that are going extinct. Because it's not like they might not be around for a while. So it's a good thing, to really go and see them like that. I really think that it's cool. Like
Yeah, that's right. And I mean,
oh, go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no. All I was going to say is you've also got to remember, if there are kids that grow up in Sydney, say, that are never going to get the chance to go to Asia or to Africa, to see these amazing, amazing animals. And I think it's a really special opportunity we have to be able to let kids have that experience. It can be life changing, to see a kid that's, doesn't have a dog at home, to have a moment with a dog, it can change their life. To be
Yeah.
able to put them close to an animal like a lion or a giraffe and let them be blown away by just the wonder in it, it's pretty special.
Yeah, it really is, because like I said, I went to the zoos. I went to the zoos last year, and took my little daughter. All she loved every single part of it. And that could really inspire her to oh, I want to be a vet, or I want to do something with animals. But you got to kind of put that in front of people, or else they never know about it and become aware of it and think of that as a possible job or a possible thing. You know what I mean? So it's good to have stuff like that around, man. And like even you just having that Instagram account and all your followers and stuff you have, like anybody in the whole world can follow you and just really see the animals, like, wow, that animal exists, or this is a cool job. Look at this guy, look what he's doing, and it's just cool. I mean, you can reach out to many people like you have already just by posting a picture with an animal. How did that
That's right.
Instagram start? Because I mean, how did it really blow up like that?
It started a long time ago now. To be honest, it was, just a slow burning thing for quite a while. I've always tried to put the animal first. And so people have been interested because it's just, I guess the way I tried to do it was almost like a behind the scenes look in a wildlife park or a zoo, letting people see what I get to see. I was just the conduit to the animal. Almost 2 years ago, though, we had huge, devastating wildfires in Australia on the east coast of, well, across most of Australia, to be honest. And during those fires, one of the zoos that I look after came under attack from the fires. It completely surrounded the park and, threatened to burn the place down. And myself and 14 other keepers actually stayed to fight the fires on the ground.
Really?
And so that's where the social media stuff really blew up, because it was just a story that, went worldwide. So, almost a very tragic sort of situation ended up being able to be used as quite a positive one, because from that point we've really been able to show some pretty special things that we do over here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you never know how something negative can really become. There might with every negative there's a positive. And you guys really showed it, and you were able to save the zoo. I mean, how was that? What was that experience like? Trying to fight off the fire.
Well, I don't ever want to do it again. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm sure, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I've never fought a fire before in my life. I didn't. Yeah, we did a lot of good preparation beforehand. We made sure we had, hundreds of thousands of litres of water available to us. We had ways of getting water around the zoo. We had an amazing group of people that were passionate and, really buckled down, because the fires were that bad in so many different areas. We never even had a single firefighter come and help us.
Really?
They were just too busy everywhere else. So it was only us. And so, I mean, yeah, thank God we were okay, because it really could have been tragic.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, there was just doing it on your own with no firefighters at all around. That's pretty crazy. That's amazing. You know what I mean? And what did you guys do? Did you guys just take big hoses and just start shooting at the trees, or like, what was that, about?
It's a huge property, as you can imagine. I mean, no zoo or park isn't, but
Oh yeah.
we had a couple of trucks that had big tanks on the back, and we then had pumps that would pump water out of bigger tanks into those so that we could drive right up to the face of these fires as it was kicking off. I mean, the true way that we were able to do it is we just had a lot of eyes and a lot of communication. If we ever saw the slightest fire start, we were onto it as quick as possible before they got too big. If any of the and we were, I mean, there was one day, it was New Year's Eve 2 years ago, that was our big day, but we were still putting out fires on the grounds 5 days later. It was just something that felt like it wasn't going to stop.
How did these fires even begin usually?
But yeah. Look, that was just a combination of really bad times in Australia. We'd gone through years and years of drought. So you just had an enormous spread of natural landscape that was just dry. And then fires, unfortunately, started here every summer. I mean, like different parts in the States as well, some, types of wilderness that are just subject to it. It's
Bound to happen, right? Yeah.
Natural way that things happen, but these are the biggest of landscape.
Damn, man, that's just crazy. But I guess that's just how the world is, how Earth is. You know what I mean? It's always got some natural disasters brewing for everyone, But that's a good thing. That's a good thing you guys were able to fight that fire off, though. I mean, did you have to evacuate?
We were successful. Yep.
Did you just take them to the other zoo?
I mean, to be honest, it's impossible.
Oh.
No, you can't. I mean, when you've got animals like giraffe and rhino and, gorillas, orangutans, tigers, lions, you can't just load them all into cars and drive somewhere. Like there was no plan B. We had to stop the fire.
Holy shit. So yeah, there was a lot of pressure there. That's good. That probably really motivated a lot more people to come and help out, to save the animals. But yeah, I mean, you can't really fit a giraffe in a semi truck, right?
No, not at all. And not to mention, there's nowhere to drive it. It's not like we have anywhere else that we can just drive to sort of unload them. Like that was their home. Like we had to defend their home.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, after that, I mean, did they have to, was there any like fires around, the rubble, I guess, and the debris, did that eventually just kind of brush away, or, I mean, did it affect any of the building on the outside by any way?
Yeah, look, the landscape in Australia after the fires was very different. You could drive out of the zoo for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes even without seeing the colour green for months. There was just no vegetation that was spared. And the only thing that brings that back is rain. And we were lucky. It was within the month that then we sort of had some really good rains again in Australia. And our vegetation, our native landscape, it's supposed to have fire. Fire is not a bad thing necessarily. It's part of the cycle of some trees can't even propagate without fire. Like this thing does have to happen, but it was just of such magnitude that we'd never had it before, and it caused such devastation. I mean, 2 years later, there's still areas that are not that far from the zoo that still look like the fire only just happened. But it really did destroy everything, and it's only now that there's the starts of undergrowth coming back. Then other areas, once there's that good rain, you get that instant shoot out of green growth again, and it looks very different. But yeah, just bad combination of droughts and fires that got started that didn't stop.
Damn. Does it stay summer year round there in Australia?
No, we certainly have winter. I mean, where we are, sort of New South Wales, we do have some mountainous areas that do get snow, but we don't get a lot. But no, it does get cold, not, cold like Northern Europe or, some parts of the States. But
Right.
we do have good seasonal change. Yeah.
What is it right now? Is it summer over there?
Late spring. So we're in the last month of spring. And so December is the start of summer for us. So we have very hot summers, unlike you guys.
Damn, dude, that's crazy. It's now it's almost winter time. It's the end of fall right now where I'm at. That's crazy, man. I think you're like
Yep.
16 hours time difference for me right now. It's Saturday night, 8:30, and it's 12 p.m. Sunday over
Yep.
there.
Lunchtime on Sunday here. Yep.
Jeez, it's so weird, man, how that works, but I don't know. Whatever, it's cool. So where do you like to travel? I mean, do you go and travel and see other animals or?
Yeah, to be honest, my biggest travels, most amounts, has actually been into the US.
Oh, really?
I would have traveled there maybe 10, 12 times. I've made some amazing friends and, work colleagues over there. I actually don't know how many states I've visited. I've probably only visited 7 or 8 states, to be honest. And it's all focused around zoos. Most of my time has been spent in San Diego. The zoos there are just phenomenal. So, just such a big population, such great investment into it. The zoos are just spectacular. But yeah, I've also sort of done East Coast, spent some time in Ohio, Colorado. Yeah, some really fantastic facilities around the place.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I've never really I went out to I've been to San Diego and California, but I never went out to the zoo there. I'm gonna check it out one of these days, dude. I mean, it sounds like it'd be a pretty cool place to go. I
Yeah,
mean,
unbelievable.
well, that's cool that you got to come out here a few times then, or 12 times or whatnot. But what is you know, I think I seen before you had like some I did watch some of your YouTube videos with my daughter. She liked them. They were kind of like kid ones, right?
Yeah, it's my real target. It's my key demographic is kids. I can speak on their level.
When did that start? Is that still a thing going or what?
No, not really. And so, to be honest, mate, I've never done the YouTube stuff. And it's probably on me. Like, you just can't do everything.
Right.
Look, YouTube is an amazing medium. There's people that all they'll do is watch YouTube. They don't watch, conventional television. They don't watch me. They get it. But that was a market videos I've done for other things and putting it onto YouTube. But it is an untapped area for me for education because, it's such a resource for people.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, my daughter liked them. They're like a little few minute clips, and she's like, "Oh
That's
yeah," she's like, "Let me go see." I was like, I was telling my girlfriend I was doing some research on you, so I can prepare for the interview, and I just told my daughter come with me, to
yeah.
come and watch the videos, and she just really enjoyed them. They're just little few minute, clips and stuff, but scrolled through, played them all, and
Yeah.
she's singing along with the little song they were playing on there or something. I was just like, yeah, that's just pretty cool. It really
Oh,
entertains the
that's good.
kids. She's 4 years old, so I mean that's
Yeah,
that age
that's
or
perfect.
whatnot. Do you plan on ever
Yeah.
doing that again?
Yeah, to be honest, look, I should. For me, Instagram has been my biggest vehicle. I think it's such a visual medium, and all I have to do is in my day to day. Everyone has a phone with them, of course. Just when I'm doing whatever, I sort of get the phone out. I take a 20-second video of something that I'm doing, and to me, I may have done it every other day. It may be a one-off for me.
Right.
But just in that short little video and getting that out there has just been, it's how I've been able to impact the most amount of people. I get, social media can be such a horrible place, but it can also be really great.
Right.
I get amazing feedback from people from around the world just saying, thank you for putting something positive up. Thank you for, people, because I tend to try to post it around the same time every day. Because you sort of do your day and then you go, right, okay, I've got a second now, let's just get something up. And
Yeah.
just to hear from people that they almost hang out for that time, wherever they are in the world, because they're imagining that, Zookeeper Chad's about to put up something that he did today.
Yeah.
It blows you away. Like what a time that we live in, that, you and I can be talking from across the world, and that somebody in another part of the world is sitting there waiting for me to post a 20-second video on an Australian animal in a couple of hours. Like it's pretty amazing.
Right. I mean, I really, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like that, I really enjoy that we can do this kind of stuff. I don't have to fly all the way over to Australia to do an interview with you. You know what I mean? We can just do one right here. People can listen to it, and
No, I'd make you pay me to come to you, I think, if that was the deal.
Yeah, maybe one day. But it's pretty cool though. I mean, like how you said it works. I mean, it's just something positive and something good. That's what I really liked about what you do, because like you said, there is a lot of bad stuff out there, and it's just nice to scroll through Instagram or whatever it may be and not see, oh, this and this, person is this, they got arrested for this crime, or this person is
Yep.
accused of this. It's just like I don't want to see that shit. I want to see some Zookeeper Chad playing with an animal. You know what I mean? Just something that's not negative. I just don't want to see that. You know what I mean? I don't like that. You know what I mean? It's just like that. But that's with social media. There's a lot of that stuff on there because that's what gets the views or the interest. People like to hear that kind of stuff. But for me, I'm completely opposite. I don't like seeing that. And I want to see something nice. I want to see something different that I haven't seen. I want to learn something new, and that's what people get from you and your Instagram, from what you post day to day. They might not know what kind of bird you might post, or what kind of, frog or something, you know what I mean? But, it's just cool to really be able to see that kind of stuff, and learn, educational, have fun at the same time. And, that's what my daughter did when she watched your videos, and she really enjoyed them.
That's good. And I haven't had to resort to any form of nudity yet in order to get followers. So it's a real positive.
Right, man.
No one needs to see that.
Zookeeper Chad. Oh man, no, I mean that's one.
We'll just leave that one.
Yeah, no. What kind of marine life do you guys have out there at the zoos?
Amazing. So in our zoos, there's very little true marine. We have a few aquatic snakes. We have amphibians, but in none of the zoos that we currently look after do we do full aquarium. There are some fantastic facilities in our country that do. As you would probably be aware, the Great Barrier Reef just supports such amazing marine life, and it's really showcased well in quite a few facilities over here. But it's not my forte, that's for sure.
What is more like yours? Because I know you post a lot of that koala bear. Isn't his name Archer?
Yeah, well, I hand raised him from when he was very young, so he's like another baby of mine.
Yeah.
Australian animals, I've got a long history working with them. I love mammals. If I was to be honest, if I sort of had to have, start picking favorites, I get a lot from working with mammals, whether it be from a primate to a marsupial, some sort of placental mammal. It's definitely mammals. And again, just because of those specific individuals, it's hard not to have favorites. So Archer, as you're aware, and then obviously Margie, the lion cub, she's the one that's got my heart the most at the moment.
How old is that one? That little cub?
Margie, she is coming up to 11 months in just a bit over a week.
Dang.
So she's now, she's like 70 kilos, which is like 140 pounds.
Dang. So how do you
So
train
she's my
them?
big baby now.
No kidding.
No, so she's not. Yeah, she's not trained. So again, she's not a circus animal. So Margie and I, we started our lives together because, like, pretty tragically, her mother passed away during childbirth.
Oh man.
Aside from her, there was another dead cub in her that just led to a septicemia. And no matter what we tried, the surgeries, the care afterwards, unfortunately we lost her. So I've been looking after Margie since she was like 6 hours old. So you're not seeing a trained lion, you're just seeing now a big lion cub interacting with someone who she sees as her mum. And I'm just very fortunate to have that relationship.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, so like you're her little comfort, zone, you know what I mean? So like she knows like not to be too rough with you as a human, you know what I mean? Like and not claw your arm off or bite you, right? I'm oh go
So she plays, and I mean, she's obviously a lot stronger than I am, but no, she never tries to hurt. I mean, so it's not like I'll be able to interact with her like that forever. It's
yeah.
not really too far away from now. She'll get introduced to a male, and she will then take on that next step of her life, which is going to becoming a lioness. Bonding with a boy and having that relationship. And at that point, her relationship with me becomes redundant. She has a more important one. So then that's when I'll have to, let go to some degree. Like I'll still be able to interact with her on the other side of a fence, but I need to honor her and that stage of her life and let her take the next step. No matter how hard it is for me, I've got to be proud that I got her to that spot.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's just kind of how it is, with even kids, I mean once they find their partner, once they get older and they get their partner, then I mean you're still there, but it's less like
Yeah,
you got to be from a distance, and let them, fly on and do what they're going to do and go through, you know what I mean?
yeah. You've done your job.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's pretty cool though. I mean, that you're able to interact with her and stuff like that. I mean, I got that we had adopted this new cat, and something about her, she's just kind of really crazy or kind of playful, but if I try to cuddle her and rub her stomach or something, she'll claw my face or something, you know what I mean? So I don't know, some cats and stuff, they might be, more. Then we got another one that's actually able to, oh, just come here baby, let me cuddle you. But this, the other one just does not want that, claw your face or bite you, or I got a bite mark on my wrist, from him right now, and it's just I don't know, I don't get it, I mean, they just have different behaviors or whatever you want
Personalities.
to call it, personalities, right? And you just got to learn them. I mean, how do you, what is your best way to go about and learning your animal's personalities?
Watching, let them tell you, and that's
Just
again like we were talking. You can't rush education. You can't rush real learning. The only way that I can learn these animals is spending time with them, and every day they're still teaching me. They should get out because it's not true. Um, there's probably few industries where that's the case, but every day you're still learning how little you know about everything. I'm very lucky that with the species in my care, I'm not brand new at this. I know some stuff, but there wouldn't be a day that goes by that I'm not enlightened on something new, seeing something a little bit different. A new individual of the species comes in and completely changes my view on what that species is capable of, or what it can do. It's amazing, but you can only learn by putting yourself in their shoes, letting them show you what's what, and just trying to give them the best that you can.
yeah, that makes sense. That's a good way to put it. What is like one animal that I guess kind of surprised you, like you were saying, like from watching them and just letting them be who they are, like what species, kind of surprised you with their
Oh, look, they
behavior?
all surprise me. I think the most challenging, so the more intelligent the animal, obviously, the more challenging it is from a professional point of view, because what they need is far greater than anything else. When you start talking about animals like great apes, big cats, these are incredibly intelligent animals. They need they need their lives enriched. They don't just need us to look after their physical needs. They need us to look after their mental needs. They need us to look after their emotional needs. In so many ways, they have just those same levels that we do, and you have to be conscious of that. I'm so proud of the industry that I'm in and how far we've come, because it's not that far back in our living memories that a zoo was just concrete with iron, and it was like a living stem collection where the goal was just to have two of everything, and people just walked in and saw the world. It didn't matter what that animal facilities around the world, and certainly the three that and it doesn't. Nothing else matters. Financially, from the visitors, the animal comes first, and we're just very fortunate that by doing that, it's enriching for everybody.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that does make sense, because, I mean, it's growth and progress is what it is, and like you said, you got to start somewhere, and that's what happened. That's what it was back then. But look how much more it has improved over time, and how much, more care and, affection goes into, taking care of these animals and making sure that they're, happy and content, and taken care of, right, instead of just, like you said, in the concrete, concrete and just steel bars, and that's it, that's a lot different. But, I mean, just think about how little time that was, to where we are now, and look how big the changes are, and how much more is to come in the future. You know what I mean? It's just crazy how much you can progress over time. And but that's what sucks, like you have to start somewhere is what it is, you know what I mean? But and then you just progress, and that's what I'm getting at is, like you can tell that the people that really care about the animals in the zoo is a lot different from what it was, before, as you were saying.
Yeah, we've got a lot of a much better motive for the reasons behind animals in captivity. Before it was entertainment, and
Right.
that's not what it should ever have been.
Would it, like, yeah, that's what I was gonna kind of ask you, like some people, since you did, kind of brought this up, people, think it's kind of unfair, or that the animals shouldn't be in captivity. What do you say about that?
Look, I understand the perspective, because they've probably been to some bad zoos in the past, or they've seen the ways that animal bundle, whereas a good institute that puts the animal first, as I keep saying, it's not it can be it is a very positive life within, life cycles for these animals in our care, and we want it to be that way. What we're trying to provide is, if you look at every individual animal that's in a wildlife park, they're an ambassador for their species, wild to be thrown into captivity. That's not what we need to do, but we do need to educate people on what's happening out there. And the best form of education is a living, breathing organism right there in front of you that you get to appreciate and fall in love with. What a wildlife park should do is to set up an environment where that animal is thriving, and that we can view and really appreciate them for what they are. And then, I mean, the best case scenario is to go back into your real world afterwards and make some decisions that are going to impact those animals in the wild. You're going to write a letter to your government minister. You're going to.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. There it goes. We could continue.
Got you again.
Oh, it's all good. I can hear you
Yeah,
again.
I was saying is that the main goal is if we can get people to change what they're doing back in their real lives after their visit, then that's the most impactful thing we can do. But I truly think that zoos and wildlife parks have such a first time I went to a zoo when I was a kid and got to see animals that I never knew existed, and how much that changed me. And I think we still have the ability to do that.
Right. Yeah. I guess yeah, that definitely does make sense to me, and I definitely think that's a good way to look at it, the way you explained it. And, like you said, people, might not agree with it, but to me, I think that makes sense, I mean, and like you said, best case scenario, eventually, is like you can be able to release them out to the back into their habitat, what I mean? But that's still ways to go before that can even be a thing, right? Or what do you really think about on that?
Look, there are some true forms of that type of conservation where there is direct breeding in captivity to go out. I wish it happened more, but like we said at the start, so much of it is about habitat destruction. It's
Mm.
about the growth of the human population. I mean, just in my country alone, it's a huge land, but we're so focused on the east coast of Australia. It's the richest, most beautiful part of the country in so many ways. The easiest place, that urban spread that naturally happens. And I'm not ignorant to think that human populations are going to stop or
Right.
slow or anything like that. I understand that growth has to happen, and are going to stop, but there has to be better ways of animals and people cohabitating. There's no reason why we have to. We don't have to clear fell an entire region. We can leave enough amongst them. I mean, it would make for such a more beautiful landscape to live in anyway, and we wouldn't be upsetting, the natural order of things like we do at
Right.
the moment.
Yeah. That would be the ideal way to do it, but I mean, it takes a lot to really put that into the people in charge of the land and everything's heads, you know what I mean? And hopefully, there can be some situations to where that does become possible, but I mean, how do you even go about that? I mean, you just kind of reach out to them when they're trying to build new stuff or destroy some land, and you just reach out to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we often forget how powerful we are as individuals or communities.
Yeah.
We have elected officials in every democratic country,
Hmm.
and what's going to become important to them is what's important to us, because at the end of the day, they want to get re-elected.
Right.
If it becomes so important in a community that habitat remains, and everyone uses that vote accordingly and will only put in a leader that is going to do what they have asked them to do, then it's extremely powerful. I think, unfortunately, we feel powerless so much of the time because we're not that man or woman that has the power, but we are the people that assign them that power.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, we get so frustrated with the political system that we just bow out of it. Whereas that's not the answer.
Right. You got a point, and that's damn sure that people can, when they're united, we can really do something, against someone in that power. Because, like you said, we have it in our hands to elect those people, in order to have that big power. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it would take a lot, but I mean, like you said, when those kind of issues pop up, that's when you attack. and you do what you need to do, you know. But it's not like it's always going to be. There's probably going to be cases where it doesn't work, but you know, I mean, at least you know you tried and you done your best. I mean, look what you did. You saved a whole zoo with the whole fire. You united all them people. Everybody came together for the zoo and showed out. I mean, so imagine what else they could do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was gonna say, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
No, look, I think we covered a lot of ground there. I
Right.
appreciate you sort of reaching out and being interested in what's happening over here. I think it's really cool. And no, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for spending about an hour with me, dude. I do appreciate it and really getting to hear your story and how you got into it, you know, and your perspective on animals and zookeeping and everything. You know, I'm my bad, grateful for you coming out. And I mean, it's crazy, you know, we got the time zones correct, you know. I mean, that's amazing, you know, because I tried to do it one time and it didn't work out. That's why I was trying to be precise with the timing and stuff. But you know, you really you know, put some good things in my head, you know what I mean? And other people that listen to this, you know, that's going to be motivation for them, you know. So I'm grateful that you do what you do and continue to do it, man, because I'm, you know, definitely going to continue to follow you and check out all your stuff, you know. Let the people know where they can find you at.
Yeah, well, as we said, mate, so primarily it's Instagram. So zookeeper underscore chat. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. And so that's where daily we're just chucking stuff up. Again, I try to keep myself out of it as much as possible. It's all about the animal into their world. And I think
Right.
that's what people enjoy.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Well, thank you again. And I'll be sending this over
My
to you.
pleasure.
I'll let you know when I drop this and put it out there, man. Thank you. I appreciate you again.
Oh, say hello to your daughter for me. I'm
Oh
glad
yeah,
she's
I will,
enjoying
man.
it.
You have a good rest of your day, man.
You too. Thanks.
All right, thank you, man. See ya.